Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
In our last video, we took you on a van tour of our beloved VW T6 campervan Nelson, and we showed you some other things that we absolutely love about him.
But in this video, we are going to go through some of the irks and quirks of VW ownership over a 7-year period. For those of you that are new to the channel, we're Richard and Jackie, and we have been early retired for 2 years now, but we have owned our VW T6 campervan Nelson for the last 7 years.
And we have absolutely loved our time that we've travelled in Nelson. We have done over 120,000 miles in him now. We have travelled extensively through Europe, through the Alps, through the Spanish Pyrenees, and we have travelled all over the UK. But it's not come without its quirks, and we have concocted a little list of some of the things that we have noticed that are a little bit irksome at times.
Yeah, we don't want you to think that we're negative people, because we're not. And if you've seen our last video on when we did a van tour, you will know that we absolutely love Nelson and everything that he has brought us. But inevitably, over the course of 7 years, there are a few issues that maybe just wind us up a little bit. If you go on any of the VW forums, you will know that VW Transporter vans are renowned for having rubbish headlights. And they are. They are one step up from candles. If you want good headlights on your VW, then you have to pay the upgrade cost for LED headlights. We never did that, but yeah, in the depths of winter, where we live in the Yorkshire Dales, we have to spend quite a lot of our time with the van with full beams on, but it's a small price to pay for the joy he brings us.
Another thing you read about widely on a lot of the VW forums is the issue with rust on the doorsteps. We are reassured, I hope, that it's not actually the body that's rusting, it is just a little metal clip that's part of the door sills, but it is quite annoying. It didn't happen on ours, probably for the first 4 years or so. We noticed little bits of rust coming, but it is getting quite bad now, and we are not in warranty anymore.
When it's raining, and depending on which way the van is tilting, one of us will inevitably get a little bit of a shower when we either get into or leave the van. It's because when you've got a pop top fitted, the rain gathers just inside the pop top, and then as you open one of the front doors, that water has a way of escaping and it literally just pours down and you do get really wet. We believe from the forums there is a solution to it, that you can get a bit of a gutter fitted, but we've never bothered. We just get in and out of the van really quickly. This is absolutely not a gripe to do with anything that's eco, and it's actually nothing to do with the AdBlue addition that the Euro 6 engine needs. It's an additive that you add to the engine that allows it to burn the diesel at lower emissions. Fine with that. Filling the AdBlue and the AdBlue sensors is a real issue on the T6, and we had loads of problems in our first couple of years of ownership of overfilling, because when you get an AdBlue warning, it just says fill it up. So you would probably fill it like you would fill petrol or diesel, and you would fill it until it clicks or overflows. That's the worst thing that you can do on a T6, and we've overfilled it too many times. The best bit of advice that we've had from many VW Assist breakdown people that have been to help us out on this is to wait till the sensor tells you that you are down to 800 miles and then put in a 10-litre container of AdBlue. And then there is a really careful way of resetting the system. You put your key in the ignition, give it one turn, and wait 30 seconds for the sensor to recalibrate, and then you can switch on the ignition fully. Only doing those steps for us has stopped us getting warning lights. So it's a faff, but once you get used to it, it's not too bad.
When we had the van converted and when we were looking at all the different designs that you could have, we decided that we would have the seats recovered, and we went for this really beautiful cream and navy design made from, is it pleatherette, the fake leather? It looked beautiful for about 4 years, but actually after 4 years it started delaminating and it does look really scruffy now. Not sure whether we'd get it done in pleatherette again, whether we would keep some kind of fabric seating. I know we can get it redone, but it just seems a cost now that we would rather spend our money on different things. So the van does look a little bit shabby now, but we're okay with that. We cover it with some blankets and we love getting away in Nelson, so if he looks a bit scruffy, so be it.
One of the next little irks is entirely self-inflicted, and it's just due to our incompetence of putting the pop top down. For the first 12 months we didn't really pay much attention when we were putting the pop top down, and the mechanism here made just a couple of little holes in the tent. So if you have got a pop top, when you are pulling the pop top down, you just need to be really careful to make sure that the entire tent area is pushed in well away from the pop top mechanism before you finally pull the lid down. But that's our own fault, so a bit of duct tape keeps the water out.
When we chose the design of the van and when we were looking for a VW camper van, we wanted something with a tailgate, which we do absolutely love. And we've got a tailgate bike rack, which we use quite a lot. We take the bikes with us when we go on our big European trips. But actually, sometimes it is quite a bit of a faff. You have to have the gas struts uprated, which we did, so we can lift the lid up and we can, in theory, leave the boot up and open with the bikes on. But it's really heavy, and actually I don't trust it. Whenever we want to go into the boot, if the bikes are still on the rack when we're away on our extended trips, one of us has to stand and hold the roof open while the other person gets into the cupboards and gets what they need. It's a little quirky thing, but it is quite annoying.
Sometimes the van has a bit of a mind of its own, and it's all to do with the key fob, and I can't really understand it. I think it's something to do with ventilation, but we have had a nightmare with this at times. I can be at home with my keys in my pocket and accidentally just open the van and hold the open button down, and this happens. All the windows drop. Now, we've had that happen overnight when we've been sat at home, and even worse, the heavens opened, so it rained in all night. It's a bit of a nightmare. On the key fob as well, if you then lock the van and hold the lock, it does do the reverse. So it's definitely something to do with ventilation in hot weather, but it is a quirk that we could absolutely do without.
When we first got the van converted, we had been to the Campervan show in Telford and we'd seen some fab vans with lots of lights everywhere that were really quirky and fun and bright and breezy. So we had lots of LED lights put into this van, but we did quickly realise that that actually just drains your battery. One of the first readjustments we had to have done quite quickly was just to have the lights here put on a separate circuit, so we've got lights over where we're cooking. We've still got the landing strips that are all around the van, but we very rarely use them, only when we're on electric hookup, and we've got a little reading light there, and that's actually all that we need. A small issue with a pop-top roof is putting it back down again. For us two, we generally have it as a two-man job. Richard will pull the handles and get the roof down, and I will pull on the straps to tighten them, and then we just go around and tuck all of the edges in so we don't make the holes back in the tent again. Like anything else, I'm pretty sure if you were on your own, you would find your own little ways of doing it on your own, but it is a little bit of a faff.
Even after 7 years, one of the things that we're just not entirely convinced about is the sink. We hardly use it. The most we use it for is getting a water supply from our water tank. We never use it for washing up. We always wash up in a bowl, or we use the facilities of the campsite. So if we had our time again, we would probably not have a sink and have more counter space.
And just another little point on the van conversion, and I don't think there's a lot you can do about it. Once you've got your bed out, you can't get into these cupboards, so we do have to remember if there's anything in the cupboard that we need overnight, we have to get them out before we go to bed.
Regular viewers of the channel will know that my perennial moan about VW campervan life, particularly when we're off grid, is that I can't charge my laptop when we are not on hookup, and that is a real issue for us, and it's probably the only issue to do with power and the van. Everything else that we've got that we use in the van runs off the 12-volt system, but if I want to charge my laptop, then these need to be plugged in to hook up, and consequently need a campsite for that. We do know that there are solutions to this one particular problem, and as part of our YouTube work we have been offered a few different options of power banks, and maybe there'll be one that's out there to tempt us in the future. We also know that we could fit an inverter to the van, but that seems quite an investment for something that is a relatively simple problem that we do have a workaround, because goodness me, we might have to go to the pub to charge the laptop, which would be a real challenge, but it works for us. And if we need to pop into a pub or a cafe every couple of days, then that works for us at the moment in time.
Another problem that is probably entirely our own fault. We do go away a lot in the van. We go away a lot in winter when there's lots of steam and condensation. We started getting little bits of mildew underneath where these shades go, and we found the solution is to actually just keep the shades permanently just slightly down so that you don't get the moisture trapped in there, and that seems to have stopped the problem. So if you've got the same issue, just check underneath your shades and make sure you keep a little gap.
So that's it. We hope you realise that we are entirely positive people, and I don't think we've ever put out a video that has negative connotations, and these are not really big negative things.
They are just little quirks. Some of them hopefully you might pick up and think about it in your own ownership or potential ownership of VW vans, just so that you can either avoid the pitfalls or know that there's little solutions to go with them.
So that's it from us. We hope you've enjoyed the video, and we'll see you later. Bye.
Bye.